What is a question you wish people wouldn't ask you? What happened to your neck? I have a big scar at my throat, had my thyroids removed because of cancer. It's never fun to tell the story and people are all like, oh, I'm so sorry, after that. Definitely a way to kill the mood. I got hanged for internet piracy but the hacker 4chan rescued me. I got too frisky in the bedroom on Valentine's Day. It's a tattoo of my repeated 67 times and overlaid on top of itself. The bungee cord snapped, the umbilical cord snapped, my boss snapped. I love the idea with the tattoo. One time I told the co-worker I was a spy in my past life and got the scar from when a policeman in Russia tried to kill me during interrogations with a knife on my throat. Good times. How's your love life going? It hasn't been going for years. You know this. Love life is a rather grandiose term for staring at women on the bus. What do you do for a living? I got fired 6 months ago from my job and despite a few interviews and lots of applications, I'm out of luck so far. Now suddenly nearly everyone I meet is super interested in what I do for a living. I swear they would never ask that before. I hate having to tell people I'm unemployed. I've taken to responding with the most mundane career imaginable, which I then enthusiastically try to engage the asker in. Oh me, I'm in middle management for an industrial sheathing company. Everyone needs electronic devices, and we supply the sheathing to the cables in those devices. Right now we're working on a poly-latex core with solid rubber sheath that's going to be an absolute game changer for the industry. The shams on these babies regulate dispersal heat for the flanges at 0.8 flops per millimeter of sheathing core at a rate of 3 times more squelch each second. That's over 5 times more absorption to the nesting bridge than any other sheath on the market. If you want I can show you some schematics on it that will really blow you away. And then you get the one guy who's really into that. No way. How do you manage the heating process through 0.8 flops? It's better now but people used to ask me, which part of Korea are you from? Then I would say, North because I want to just around with them for asking stupid question. Then they would ask, is that the good side or bad side? So jokes on me. Is that the good side or bad side? God, that made me laugh. I chose the dark side. How's the weather up there? Do you play basketball? My friend, who's also 6 feet 7 inches responds with, do you play mini golf? So how do you do? I have symbricdactyly and was born with no fingers. I get asked a lot of questions. Also I text using SwiftKey. I know that's what you were wondering. Holy, thank you for the silver. And I was not expecting this to turn into an armor, but I'll try to get to everybody. Also edited. I did used to use Swipe. Now I use SwiftKey. I will post pics of how I knit and crochet. I know it's hard to imagine, but true. Thanks for all the questions, support and interest in my life. How do you do pronouncing symbricdactyly? Symbricdactyly. As a single dad, I wish people wouldn't ask me about my son's mother. 9 times out of 10, they just want gossip. My mother died when I was a child. People made idiotic assumptions about my father's ability to parent. Feed the kids. You know they don't eat at home. Honey, do you want to talk about girl things? Oh, what's the name of your maid? I know you can't keep a house this clean. A guy went out with a guy who had been widowed a few years ago. He raised 3 kids mostly on his own, had a successful career, was super fit, neat freak. My mum asked me, who cleans his house? To be fair, my mum is a stupid. I am married and we have 1 young child. Is he going to get a brother, sister anytime soon? Or some other variation, especially from someone you barely know or just met. Listen, everything about having kids is personal, from the act of procreation to the impact on your life to the financial considerations. Not to mention the feelings about it from the parents, which may not always be aligned. Like please, I told you my kid's name and how old he is, now you wanna bypass superficial acquaintance small talk and go right to deeply personal plans for our life. FOH. I had a horrendous pregnancy and my daughter was born early. People ask me, so when are you having another? And when I explain it's because I almost died the first time, the counter is almost always, oh but every pregnancy is different. It off both me and my husband, who got to watch me be strapped to a bed with multiple IVs and monitoring devices during the week I was in the hospital. Yeah, sure, the next one might actually kill me. Are you a felon? I made a mistake a few years back while defending my little sister. I have a final job interview today after a series of interviews for a web developer position, and I'm absolutely dreading answering this question. Edit. Rip my inbox. Also, thank you all for the kind and motivating words of encouragement. This isn't entirely the same, but it is more similar than it seems. Someone was applying to work for my father and they hadn't worked for quite a long time, which was why they couldn't find a job. It turned out that they had been a primary caregiver of a relative the whole time, and when my father heard this, he hired him on the spot. Even an employer can sympathize with someone who has sacrificed for their loved ones. How are you disabled? Leg disabled. What do you do for a living? Me. Retail. Oh, face with rolling eyes. Me. Yeah, I hate it too. Oh, well, there's nothing wrong with that, which is a thing people only say about things they think something is wrong with. When are you going to have children? Or variations of that question. I used to be polite and now I start talking about all of the tests and treatments we have gone through to still have no children. Well, Martha, if you didn't want to hear in detail about my ovaries and my husband's motility, why did you even ask? I always hope it will shock them out of asking someone else such a personal and sometimes painful question. Or if you somehow succeed once, when's your next one? We're lucky enough to have son. He was the second of 3 pregnancies. Why are you wasting your time doing? Why are you wasting time worrying about what I'm doing? I'm taking this response for later, probably to dig myself further into a metaphorical hole. This is gonna get lost since the post is so old, but I'll get it off my chest anyway. I've had a speech impediment since I was able to talk. I stutter on words at seemingly random times, really no specific pattern or sound, when I get nervous or pressure is really high. As a kid I couldn't string more than a few words together, but through school and into college it got much better. As an adult I really don't have many issues in normal conversation, but I absolutely hate having to introduce myself in a group setting. I seem to stutter on my name 90% of the time. It's pretty embarrassing. Anyway, the question I hate is when someone asks, "Did you forget your name?" Ugh. I don't know what kind of rock they've lived under, but it completely turns me off from that person for years. Mostly it's meant to be a harmless joke, but if they'd simply put 1 and 1 together they'd realize how thoughtless the comment was. Anyway, that's it. Are you going to have another baby? Quote, when my child is not even 10 months old. 10 and GT, 9, so I guess you're behind schedule. Ha, my aunt accidentally got pregnant immediately. My cousins ended up in the same school year. Why don't you have a degree and are married with kid like? Because although we are twins, we are completely separate people. How is everything going with the adoption process? I put on a brave face and answer optimistically when in reality the process has not been going well. I know people are genuinely interested and don't mean harm, but it's a tough question to answer without breaking down. It's okay if you break down. I have friends who are trying for a baby for 2 years now and they have also started the adoption process. I freely ask how it's going because they know they don't have to put on a brave face for me. Make sure you have people you don't have to put on a brave face for. I wish you all the best. Will you have children in the future? They changed my life and made me happier, and you should experience the same thing. Even if you still can have children. Yada yada. No, I would not, for the reasons. 1. I know deep in my soul that I'm not a parent type because I have bad patience and can get annoyed fast. 2. I'm happy with my current freedom, monsieur. 3. I just don't want it. And GT, I just don't want it. This should really be enough. You wanna have kids? No. Fair enough. Why don't you get a haircut? As a dude with long hair, I feel your pain. My son has hair past his shoulders. The amount of rude people who say, "Oh my god, that's a boy." Quote, when I say, "This is my son." And most don't leave it at that. They keep going. "He looks like a girl." That's a boy. Really? Right in front of him, monsieur. He's only 4 but he dresses totally like a boy. He just has long hair. It's starting to hurt his feelings. He likes his hair. Why are you so quiet? Why are you so loud? For real though. I'm 3 feet away. Please stop shouting. Also, I don't seem nearly so quiet if you just shut me up once in a while and let someone else talk. When are you getting married? Getting married doesn't stop it. The question just changes to, when are you having kids? We don't know if we want kids. Oh, you'll change your mind. Why did you ask if you were just going to dismiss my answer? I'm 21 and anytime the topic comes up and I say I'm not sure that I even want kids, people always say that. I'm not even in a relationship or in any position to be considering that idea. Why do people feel the need to say things like that? Can't they just be okay with the idea that not everyone wants kids? Working in the emergency department on the trauma team, and previously working for the fire department, people ask me all the time, what's the worst, craziest thing have you seen? Or sometimes people reference some hospital TV drama or Chicago fire, etc., asking if it's really like the TV shows. I don't want to relive the worst things I've ever seen. There is a reason I go to therapy every week. And no, it's not like TV. Not every patient has some life or death thing. Most patients are treated like a walk-in clinic and could have saved loads of time and money, going to an urgent care or calling their doctor. Yeah, I'll echo this one. Military, fire, police, medical. This is like the go-to question. Great way to kill a conversation. Totally. I was in the army, and people used to ask me if I killed anyone. I mean, first of all, no. Second, if I had, I would not tell you that. Third, who the talks about that at a random get-together? Almost everyone. Is that your married name? Me, nope. Never been married. Almost everyone. Oh. So that's your maiden name? Me, yup. My father is full-blooded Hispanic and my mother is basically all Irish. I take after my mom. Fair skin, freckles, blue eyes. So when they see my very Spanish last name, without fail, that is pretty much the exact conversation every time. Like, yes, a white girl can be half Hispanic. When are y'all going to have a baby? My wife and I have been married for 4 years and we had a miscarriage last year. I know not everyone knows about it and they mean well, but it still brings up a sore spot in our relationship that neither of us had any control over, so it's difficult to just laugh it off. I wish you the absolute best. Miscarriages affect 1/4 women. People should really know better than asking. There are 2 reasons why people don't have children. 1. They don't want children. 2. They are trying, have tried and are dealing with miscarriages, infertility. There is no good reason to ask this question. I'm sorry you're having to deal with that in Lieutenant. 3.